Mosley, and I've been asked to chair this public inquiry. This is going to start what is going to be a series of public inquiries. I was asked to come here by members of the Movement for Justice. I'm a civil rights lawyer in the U.S. and also somebody who's been a part of building a new civil rights movement in the United States that is integrated and militant and youth-led, that has sprouted off in the U.S. over the past few years, and I've been involved in organizing and leading that. I'll be asking a number of the witnesses questions as these proceedings go on. What this public inquiry is for is the fact that in this borough, the voice of the Black and Asian community has been too long ignored, too long denied, and too long suppressed. That has been going on at the hands of council management. It has been going on at the hands of the police. And what this series of public inquiries must do is become the voice that has not been heard. Must become the voice of the Black and Asian communities that has been suppressed now for too long and now no longer. We encourage everybody here to sign up on the sheets. There are sign-up sheets at the front of the room, at the back of the room, excuse me, to give us all of your details, your information, so we can get in touch and continue the organizing process. And we also invite everyone in this room who knows someone who has had an experience of institutional racism with the council or with the police in Lambeth to sign up. There are witness sheets in the back for anyone who has a story to tell, or for anyone who knows other people who have had incidents of racism or racist police brutality occur to them or loved ones. We have passed out an agenda for the meeting, a program, and you will see that there will be some opening remarks from Luke Massey, who's a civil rights leader. Some remarks relating this whole process by Dwayne Brooks to the Stephen Lawrence inquiry. Dwayne Brooks was there on the night that Stephen Lawrence was killed at the hands of racists and fought for the Stephen Lawrence inquiry to happen. And he'll make a few remarks connecting this event, this historic moment that you all have come to be a part of and to make happen with that. Then we will proceed directly into the testimonies, and following that we will take proposals and votes on where to go from here. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Luke Massey.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Councillor John Whelan. I've been made responsible for the conduct of this meeting by the Lambeth officers who made every effort to prevent this meeting happening tonight. I have been intimidated by them and threatened that I will be charged for this venue if we don't comply with certain conditions. One of which is that I have to be here for the duration, and I'm happy to be here to hear from you, because this is a genuine consultation meeting as far as I'm concerned. I have with me my colleague Mr. Moore, who is got a qualification in facilities management. So if there's any problem, I'd just like to point out the fire exits, the green sign there to my right, and there. Also that there is no smoking allowed in this room, and that there are toilets for men and women outside. I wish this meeting well and hope I will be called back to speak in due course. Thank you very much.
My name is Luke Massey. I'm a leader of the civil rights movement that's grown up over the last several years in the United States, and it's an honor to be here. This inquiry gives a voice to the Black and Asian community of Lambeth. It gives a chance to unearth a set of things that have been going on that must no longer continue. When I was invited by Alex Owolade to come here to participate in his defense and to participate in building a movement, what I came here to do was something that I thought was narrow, was to try and help with Alex Owolade's defense. But what I've seen is a community, a very proud and a very defiant community here in Lambeth that is ready to turn a corner for race relations. We are faced right now in Lambeth with a crossroads, with two possibilities. With the possibility of going down a road of greater repression, of further accumulation of unaccountable power in the hands of the council management and the police, of increased institutional racism, of increased abuse by the police, of increased stop and search, We also have another road that we can go down. And that's a road of struggle. It's a road of telling the truth about the institutional racism that exists. It's a road of exposing a truth that there has been great lengths taken to suppress. And Councillor Whelan just referred to some of the intimidation that's going on. That's the tip of the iceberg. The council management here and the powers that be, the authorities in Lambeth, are very concerned to keep the truth about institutional racism, about abuse, about police mistreatment of young people from coming out. We are saying to them, it is going to come out, the truth will be known, and not just as a moral declaration. That truth for us is a point of departure for action. We have to organize ourselves to get the power that we need in order to act on that truth, in order to right the wrongs that are being done day in and day out to the workers in Lambeth Council, day in and day out to the youth in the community. We can organize ourselves and get the power that we need right now to turn this situation around. The abuses have been suffered too long. This is our moment to turn them around. Those two roads, the road of increased cuts in services, of increased victimization by the police and by management, and the road of truth, of turning the situation around, of changing the fundamental balance of power that exists between management and the workers, between black and white, can set a different pattern for race relations and for labor management relations throughout the whole country. Lambeth can lead right now on the basis of the strength and the understanding that I have seen with my eyes coming to this community for the first time in a really intimate way. This community can lead a change that can rework race relations throughout this country and in reality throughout the European Union and have an effect on America as well. That's what we can do now. This process is the beginning of that. And what I want to say two more things on the nature of the cover-up as I see it. The organization behind the effort to suppress the truth about institutional racism has, the Lambeth Council management has given us, even just in the immediate past, in the last 24 hours, 72 hours, new examples on paper of their attempt to suppress the truth that we've got to begin getting out through this public inquiry process. 3 examples. 1, the proposal that was put forward by Lambeth Council management for this scrutiny process into institutional racism, which the council agreed to on the basis of the pressure of workers in the community. The proposal that they have is as absurd as, let's say you were charged with a crime, and you were allowed to set the entire parameters for the trial that would take place to see whether you were guilty or not of that crime. What's the first thing you'd want to do? Is say there will be no witnesses against me whatsoever. And that's exactly what Lambeth Council management has done. They said that in their proposal for the scrutiny into institutional racism, that not a single actual case of racism would be discussed. Not a single actual incident of racism or mistreatment would be discussed. Well, then what are people discussing? Just pablum and abstractions like they always like to do. They like to say many, many abstract words and have not a single thing done about it. Well, that's not this process, and that's not us. We need to come together and say the truth and act on the truth. Another example that they put forward is in the draft new code of conduct from the report from the Standards Committee of the Council. They put forward a component of those new code of conduct procedures that includes not disclosing information given in confidence, which is very specifically about the exposure of the political conspiracy behind the attack on Alex Owolade. So now what they're saying is, if there was a counselor with the bravery and integrity as Councillor Whelan has had, to come out and expose what has happened, quote, in confidence, unquote, unless he gets the okay from someone authorized to let that confidence, to give permission to that confidence to be revealed, they can take action against that counselor. In other words, it's explicitly to try and suppress potential truths coming out about the dirty work of this council. Then there's this whole thing with this meeting, and in reality, an attempt to suppress this meeting from happening. What we have to do now is understand that we're up against an opponent that wants to suppress that truth through intimidation and the intimidation that people will hear about as it has happened to the different witnesses that will be testifying are much more effective than any testimony I could give about it. That can be broken. We are at a turning point now. The truth is that this council management and the authorities here now are scared of the power that we represent. We have to act on that. We have that power. We've got to come together, take some decisions at the end of the testimony, and move this whole situation forward, and know how much of a turning point we're at, how what we do right now matters. So thank you very much.